يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
When you're fasting, especially if you're fasting in an interesting hot place like Texas in the summer, right? Or in the Khalij somewhere, or in Pakistan or wherever, South Africa. When you're fasting, you're gonna feel thirst. And it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, or old or young. It doesn't discriminate. Thirst doesn't discriminate. Hunger doesn't discriminate. You're gonna feel hunger. And that feeling inside of you is basically your body asking you to disobey Allah. Isn't it? I mean, every ounce of thirst, every second of thirst that you feel, your body is screaming, give me water. Your stomach is really almost coming up with a song on its own. Feed me. There's a war happening inside you. Your body is asking you to rebel against Allah. And there's something in your heart that tells your throat and your stomach to shut up. Not until Maghrib. Not until Maghrib. You're fighting yourself the entire day. Yourself the entire day. There's a newlywed couple. He's crazy about her. He just looks at her and he goes, what am I supposed to do? Not until Maghrib. I'm gonna hold myself back because I'm fasting. There's the strongest of the urges, intimacy. And of course the most basic of needs, hunger and thirst. Allah blocked them for the entirety of the day. And you and I, if we're observing our fast, we're crushing the needs and the strongest desires of our body for the entirety of a day only to make Allah happy. Only to make Allah happy. And there's a kid who's like 12 years old or 10 years old, he's fasting for the first time and he's looking at this melted piece of chocolate and he's got like a little thing of it on and he's just looking at it and he puts it back. Even he's got taqwa. And then you're gonna do this. Every time you do this, you're developing a consciousness of Allah. Why is that exercise important? If you can do that through the entirety of a day to block yourself and deny yourself the most fundamental of your needs and the strongest of your wants. If you're capable of doing that, then Allah is asking you for a lot less outside of the fast. He's asking you to actually yuharrimu alayhim al-khaba'ith. The only thing He wants to prevent from you are filthy things. You're gonna have a much easier time dealing with other acts of obedience of Allah. It's trained you. It's beautiful. I put it this way. When, for any tough job, like a rigorous training, like a military training or police academy training, these kinds of trainings, there's a lot of tough exercise, yeah? And they go through hours and hours of regiments and trainings. And then that same guy decides to join some kind of light gym. And they have a workout routine. And he says, this is a joke. We used to do 10 times this much, yeah? So when he's come through a much tougher training, anything less is piece of cake, effortless. That's the idea of fasting. It's so tough. So when you're done with this, what Allah is going to ask you after that is piece of cake. You're ready for it. You'll develop the consciousness of Allah and you'll be much better able to protect yourself from disobeying Allah.